you want, Jeff. We are live. There we are. Well, hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to Friday Night Live. I appreciate you coming in. Got some special guests tonight. Got Mr. Jeff Daugherty, your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. Okay, so give me 1 second. I have the feedback coming out in my head. Hold on, Jeff. There we go. Now I got the echo out of my head. You ever hear yourself coming and going?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Because I don't wear headphones.
Okay. Let's get Heidi. Where is Heidi?
I saw her pop in.
Yeah, let's see over here. There she is. We're going to promote her. Here she comes in. There she is. Hello, Heidi. Let's unmute you. And let's make you a co-host. Hi, Heidi.
Hey, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm just fabulous. Fabulous. Yes.
Excellent.
Long time no see.
I don't believe the audience can see Heidi.
Yeah.
No?
Maybe it's just delayed a little bit.
Maybe it is.
Can everyone see Heidi?
There she is.
Okay, good. Just a little delay. So how is everyone tonight?
Are you asking
Ladies
us?
first, Heidi.
Yeah.
It's good. Overwhelmed with energy, but it's a great time to be alive, huh?
It is. Well, Heidi, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for bringing me onto your show.
Oh, hey, listen, the honor is all mine. And because I have Jeff, right next to me on the camera, at least you break up the monotony between the two.
Isn't that the truth?
So, Jeff, how are you, my friend?
If I've been better, I don't remember when, to be honest with you.
Excellent.
It's just fantastic. And Heidi and I actually have a big announcement. Can I make a big announcement?
Why, sure. You have the
floor.
Married.
Just kidding.
Heidi, do you want to make that announcement, or do you want me to?
No, you make it.
Okay, so give me just 1 second. I'm going to make this big announcement, Wayne.
Okay.
I can't share my video, can I?
I think you can.
Can I share my screen?
Sure you can. You are a co-host.
Or it doesn't give me the option to share my screen. Oh, there it is. Share screen.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to share my screen, and I want to show you guys something very exciting. How about that? Jenny Moonstone is now going to be joining us at the What to Do When You're Dead conference.
Wow, this is starting to get a little bit bigger.
It's going to be exciting. Your extravaganza of enlightenment now not only includes Heidi Vandenberg and, of course, myself, but we're now also going to have Jenny Moonstone. So there's going to be all kinds of readings, all kinds of information, all kinds of wisdom flowing. Both of these ladies are going to be sharing presentations. We also have Dan from Overwatch Channel coming, and maybe, fingers crossed, another extra special guest, and we'll keep you posted as to when we know on that. But thank you, Wayne, for letting me make that announcement.
We lost the host.
Okay, well, we're still live. I'm not sure what happened there.
I see you.
Okay, yeah. I see everyone. Okay, Jenny Moonstone. So now how big is this now? How many people are you coming in?
Well, we had almost 50. I think now with announcing Jenny, I had to raise the price because I want to make sure it stays only at 100. So we're going to have a full 100 people there.
Excellent. Well, folks, this is something that I think is important as well. I mean, everyone has questions about what happens next, right?
And Wayne, I know you were talking a little bit about coming. You're welcome to come on down.
Yeah, I'm going to have to see what's coming around. I know that's like, I guess, 3 weeks away from
December the 10th. Now, Heidi, can we start at 10 a.m. now that we have an extra presenter? Would that be all right with you?
Oh, I don't care. That's whenever you want to start. Oh,
Okay, we'll start at 10 instead of 11.
Excellent.
I
Excellent.
thought we were starting at 10 for some reason. So,
Nope.
okay.
Well, you get to sleep in.
Exciting.
I know.
It is exciting.
Yes. We get to meet. We all
That's
get
going to be
meet.
great.
I know.
So, Jeff, can you give a little sample to what you're anticipating to be shared with at the conference?
You know, one of the things I'm looking forward to most, Wayne, is just about, I'd say every one of these people, because I haven't even advertised it locally. So every one of these people that are coming, all 100 of these people will be coming from our YouTube channels. So the thing that I think is going to be part of the most fun is at the beginning, I'm going to have everybody stand up, say where they're from, and say their YouTube username. That's going to be great to say, oh, it's them, it's them,
Yeah,
it's them. That's going to be just amazing.
I think that's a great idea. In fact, this may be a start of something. It's like, where does the social platform go from here?
That's
And
true. And we think we're going to be able to live stream it on my channel, on Heidi's channel, and on Overwatch channel, and maybe some other channels if we get some other folks there. But I anticipate having Heidi give a great seminar about Vedic astrology and how it can open up your life path and interest for you, give you an idea of what to go, where to go, how to go, give you some real direction in your life to be able to take control of your life. I anticipate Jenny giving a great presentation about astrology and how to use it in your life. And I think we can probably count on Jenny making some social commentary as well, which is very, very welcome. And then Dan, with his background of a former law enforcement and now in the paranormal realm, and then whatever little I might be able to add. That's already a great show. And then in the afternoon, we're going to have a guided meditation in order to help kind of put into practice some of the things we talked about and learning how to navigate the after death plane, maybe a dry run, if you will. We're not going to kill anybody. It's not Flatliners, but that's a movie, Heidi. I know you don't watch movies.
Not into the whole. I think that's a great format. I really do. Because it's so important. I'm going to play a video, Jeff. I've played for you. Heidi, you probably haven't heard this yet, but it kind of brings into question everyone, our species, whether as far back as you go back to the Sumerian tablets, which is the earliest written record that we have, focuses in what happens next. And it still remains one of the greatest unknowns. Is that a good word to use? Of what really awaits?
It is. And I think it's intentionally unknown, Wayne. They're trying to keep us in the dark because we're less equipped to deal with it if we're in the dark.
Yeah, I agree. And Heidi, what do you think?
Yeah, that's why I'm studying astrology, is because I was always so focused on that. I was always wondering what happens when we die. So scared to die. I mean, petrified, where I thought, I used to think about this daily. I mean, where I would have, you start thinking about it and then you just can go deeper and deeper and think like you're really going to be gone. You're really going to be gone. And I used to do this all the time. And now I don't care. Like now it's like,
and well, how did you get to that point? Because I have a lot of people who email me that it's still that resonating fear in the background. So how did you come to, number one, I think, come at peace with it and reconcile it?
Well, I guess when I was very into the whole Christian thing, I'm getting saved every day, where I've talked about this a few times, but I was really just always scared. I would always, everything I did, I'd be like, Jesus, forgive me. And I'd get saved like every day on a daily basis. Because if I lied or if I like said the wrong thing or had the wrong thought, let's go with the wrong thought. Okay. If you have the wrong thought in your head and you think it's wrong, what that can do to you, because you start thinking, why would I even think that if I'm saved? So this type of stuff would bother me really bad. So, but something logistically never made sense to me. Like why? I was always wondering, this doesn't make sense. How can somebody that's in prison, like axed off a whole bunch of people, killed all these human beings, did all these horrible things, just go to jail and just get saved and then it's fine and he's going to heaven and having eternal bliss? It doesn't sound right to me. And, then with my brother and how this kid has never been sinned in his life and he has to suffer his entire life like this. So this was really hard for me grasp around. So when I found astrology,
How old were you, by the way?
it was during my Saturn return. It was recent, probably 5 years ago,
Okay.
2013.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I was always petrified. So, and when I found astrology and I found the whole Hindu religion, that's really when it changed my life. Not saying I'm a Hindu, for God's sakes, but realistically, what it did to me was made me aware of like reincarnation, which that made sense to me. Because how can if somebody does good things, and morally, I just thought there's no way somebody's going to go to hell if they just didn't know about Jesus. What happens to the people that didn't know? Because when I looked at like the population and everything, that didn't make sense. Once again, we're not making sense here in my mind. So what happens if these people just didn't hear and they didn't get mission to, or the ministers didn't get over to them to give them the message? What, they're just going to go to hell? I mean, that didn't make sense. So reincarnation and doing the right thing, the whole like karmic thing, that's what I've made peace with. That's the way I believe. So, you do the right thing, you help as many people as you can, you live a life always trying to do good things, and then you're not going to deal. I believe in past lives and now.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. And so kind of that next thing going is that you reconciled within yourself is that it's just part of the life process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I feel like we were living a prison here. Like I might
Here's good evidence.
And I might sound a little negative, but I feel like if anything's hell, we're living it right here.
Boy. Jeff, you got any comment on that?
I think every word she said has been remarkably profound. And I think that she's verbalizing the thoughts of millions of people, and I think a growing number of people. And I couldn't be any more excited for the future.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at. It's interesting how this awakening really is now being defined of about 5-6 years ago. We looked at 2012 as kind of a marker. Everyone was anticipating some sort of an Armageddon thing. And actually, I think what we're experiencing now was that this is exactly what they said would happen, that this is a shift into a new time count. We're into a whole new wave. And part of that defining what death is. I mean, 'cause I think death is the last great manipulator.
That's true. And it's interesting, Wayne, to think about the whole 2012 thing. I have a very dear friend who is a shaman, an indigenous shaman down in Mexico in San Cristobal, which is in the central Mexican highlands. And he laughs about it. They knew that 2012 wasn't anything, but a lot of them leveraged it because it was very profitable for them. And that's an impoverished country, so they have to leverage what they can. They knew that nothing was going to happen, but they were certainly leveraging it, and you can't blame them one bit.
No, not at all. It's again, I think that it's how the message in the bottle sometimes gets hijacked.
Absolutely.
I think that's the best way. So when I think a lot of people think, because particularly in Western culture, hell is the great manipulator. I mean, and it's a real mind coitus. So does hell exist? Yes or no? Heidi.
No.
Okay. Jeff.
No.
Okay. So
not only no, but hell no.
No.
Okay.
That's the point, though. I think what they call hell is almost, now with the tarot and stuff that I'm like looking at, it even makes more mystical sense. It's all just, I feel like it's all hell. What they are calling hell, just to me, it's not hell. There's no hell. It's probably what hell you're going to deal with the next life. That's kind of how I look at it.
So I'm going to play a video for everyone. We've got a good crowd in the chat room. Just to let you know, just to let you see how many we got in here tonight. We got over 137, and it's still growing. So here is what I want. Can you see that? Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so little background. I am having this is a high definition camera that I had up doing photography of the sun, and it's using an infrared ultraviolet lens. And I'm standing in my backyard, and my backyard backs up to a green belt. It's where people run, ride their bicycle. Nothing else is out there. I picked this up, and I hope you can hear it.
It didn't pick up, Wayne.
Now what?
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
Okay, you said you didn't hear that?
Not like we did before the show. Before the
Okay.
show, it was great.
All right, so we're going to go over here. I have another version.
You need to hear this, folks. This is amazing.
So I got it turned up. I hope everyone can hear it. Please listen and you tell me. This has been enhanced. So I had a friend, Jeff Nader, who actually did this. He has an audio recording studio. He took the digital file and looked at this and ran it through the scopes. The waveform is not broken. So it's not something that like another audio source. So here we go. You're going to hear a number of different filters on this. Can you hear that now, Jeff?
Yes.
Okay. Here it comes, folks. Now we're going into a different filter. We're going into a different audio filter. We're going into another audio filter. One more. One more. One more. It hit every frequency. Voices.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when you were doing that, did you actually hear those things?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Nope, I was standing out there and did not hear. And then we'll close out with the original one more time. I think he actually, I don't know if he actually recorded that or not. No. All right, so what do y'all think? Let me see what we got in the group. People are saying that's someone's soul dipped in the lake of fire. Someone wrote, pretty sure that's Hillary on election night.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, no, that's just flat funny.
An exact rendering.
That's funny.
Or that's Bill because he knew he'd have to live with her for the next 4 years.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I got to tell you what, that great injection of humor on that one, folks. So, what do you think, Heidi?
Well, I'm always skeptical of anything. So I do, sometimes I think, okay, well, what if his cameras were picking up, or sound things were picking up certain things that were making that sound? I mean, for me, once again, I have to legitimately see something in person to know that it's real. Like I've experimented and saw things that I know certain things are real, but I also know the forces that I think sometimes maybe hell is like a purgatory where people are trapped here that are can watch us maybe or be stuck in a zone like that where they're kind of trying to give you signals, because I do believe you kind of make a choice once you pass away that you know what you're going to do. You have decisions. You have to make it. What karma, what debt do you want to pay? So maybe those people are stuck there just trying to figure it out, you know, and maybe who knows, maybe they're trying to scare people. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's a question I think has to be asked, is that can voices, can frequencies transcend dimensions? Jeff, yes, no.
I think they can, and very profound words from Heidi, by the way. And Wayne, I kind of cyber stalked you today. You had purchased some divining rods from me, so I had your address. So I looked at your address from the air on Google, and you know, assuming that it wasn't one of your neighbors watching a slasher flick, and you know, the middle school and the high school across the way there weren't having an outdoor, you know, Stephen King production of Carrie. Looking at your site and situation there, I mean, you're right there pressed up against the mountains. You're, you know, in an area where there were a lot of, you know, pioneers and travelers going by, and believing, you know, what you say, that it wasn't anybody's TV up, you weren't picking up any random screaming sounds. It very well could be that there was something on that site at some point where people were involved with some type of a horrible situation. Was it natives being slaughtered? Was it people being slaughtered by natives? Was it people dying in exposure, you know, because they couldn't get over the mountains, they were freezing to death? It seems to me that Heidi is right on track, that there's some type of a karmic loop there, or some karmic residue, and you're actually picking up a definite paranormal signature of something that's either there or some harmony or frequency or resonance that is looping there through some type of a portal, or just that there's some residue there. And it's definitely, I would say it's definitely, from looking at everything, I don't think it could have been one of your neighbors. I would say you definitely have a true, legitimate paranormal EVP there.
Well, so if you saw where my house is, you know that fence right next to the green belt, that's where the camera was.
Yep.
I got a different site.
And I've been doing this for 36 years, so it's not the first one I've heard.
Well, good. I appreciate that. I actually got a different impression after I began to listen to this. You see, I think that this may go back further than that. I think that this may go back to the time that here where I live, where is really the dinosaurs actually roamed. This is, we had just found recently the first fully intact T-Rex, just about 70 miles north of here. So to me, I got this idea that, you know, when you think about the voices that I'm hearing, that's almost kind of like, you know, a life and death situation that I'm hearing.
You think it was Barney's uncle?
I think it could have gone back that far back. Yeah, I you know, listen, we know they lived back then. We got the bones.
Time is time.
It is time.
And it could have just been dinosaur voices as well.
I was seriously thinking that. What if it was just animals that picked up different animals or something? Because I've heard cats scream like that.
And think about this, folks.
Pigs scream like people.
Right over in Utah, this whole area is where we're finding mass bones. So there was a sudden death situation that hit very suddenly.
You know, Wayne, what that sounds like? It sounds like a dinosaur caught in a tar pit being pulled under.
Very interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go and
Can I tell you though, that really like did something to me? Like I felt that though.
Absolutely.
You can't feel it,
it's legit.
So something about that just got me a little hypnotized.
Let's listen one more time. So
that could easily be an animal.
Yeah.
I saw something too.
What'd you see, Heidi?
What'd you see?
I don't know. Like I just looked in there and because I guess you're seeing things move too, right? So you can see like that. I don't know if it's air. Something just shifted in there too.
Well, there's another thing I did not tell everyone. So making full disclosure, when this video was shot, we were actually experiencing a geomagnetic storm. at the time. This was back in 2016.
Do
So
geomagnetic storms create sound frequencies?
I think that they can, when we begin to think about what happens when the Earth is being hit with these energy waves off of our sun, um, you it has to affect the whole realm of our existence. What I'm trying to say, I think it can actually open up interdimensional portals.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes like
Sorry, Heidi.
no, I that's crazy because I just thought of something like because they say people are trapped on Saturn. You hear because the rings of Saturn. It kind of reminded me of that. If you listen to the rings of Saturn, the noise of Saturn.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
very good, Heidi.
Good,
Very
Heidi.
good.
Good, Heidi.
Or
Excellent.
could it be Gaia herself crying out under the onslaught of those rays?
Because we don't know what planets sound like, but I can tell you the rings of Saturn sound awfully interesting. Like I listened to those things for hours one day just to like meditate and see on it, and I don't know, I really liked it, and it was really loud and obnoxious. Most people couldn't handle it, but I listened to it for like hours.
Heidi, you're dead on. It sounded very similar.
Yeah.
All right, so let's really begin to think about this. What would a planet sound like that's in torment? I would say, is Earth in torment today?
Well, you would certainly think so with all of the abuse that she's taking from us.
I would say so. We got a star, our sun, who is, acting very freakish. We got something happening in our quadrant of the galaxy, the Milky Way. The Milky Way is in the middle right now of a collision with the Sagittarius dwarfed elliptical galaxy. Let's listen to that. Now, how do you think that's what I like about this.
Listen to this. Saturn right now too is in the nakshatra of Mula. Mula is, right at the beginning of it's the galactic hole. It's right there. That's it. That's where Saturn is. If you take an app, a star chart app, stick it in the sky right now, you can see Saturn is in the nakshatra of Mula. Mula is that, and Mula is also the god. It's like the god Kali, the god that wears the skulls around her neck that brings all the darkness to light in a very destructive way. So it's kind of interesting because it reminds me a lot of. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you go from
I like this
thinking, it's just because all the planets make noise. Like I've listened to all of them, and it was actually pretty interesting. Uranus made a certain noise, Neptune made a certain noise, but there was something about Saturn I was really drawn to. And I'm not even Saturn's in my 12th house. It's exalted, but it's not my strongest planet to say the least. But there's something about Saturn, I think, that really needs to be. When was this video taken, you said?
This was taken on March, I believe it was March. No, excuse me. It was April 10th, 2016.
Be interesting to look at your transits then, see what was transiting in that.
Yeah.
Heidi, do the planets sound differently from one another?
I mean, that's what it showed on YouTube, but I mean, it's YouTube, I don't know.
Well, now someone has suggested that because where I live as well there's rumors that there are tunnels underneath us.
Oh, yeah. Shoot, you're right.
And that someone is saying this whole area is, number one, we are a vortex of ley lines coming in. Denver area has a very strange whole thing to it. So are we?
And Wayne, might I say, when I was cyber stalking you, don't let anyone ever tell you that you don't look great in a Speedo.
I hope I was out there going, hi guys. Well, so planet
Earth. That's a great point.
Planet Earth. All right, one more time. Wow. Okay.
Listen to the rings of Saturn. It just sounds just like that.
It really does.
Well, you can pull it up.
Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah. Well, I think that this.
Yeah, I think Rex sent that to me, and it freaked me out so bad I couldn't even listen to it. The rings of Saturn. Seriously.
I sent that to Rex.
Oh, so I have you to blame, Heidi.
Yeah, right, and I did a show on. I think I did a show on Saturn for Rex, and that's why, because I was really getting into it.
But it sounds almost identical to what we're hearing, Wayne. It really does.
Now, that is interesting. And you see, that's what happens. We get so locked in our perceptions. We were thinking hell, torment, not ever realizing that the planet that we live on is an actual living entity. If it wasn't
I still
alive,
wouldn't dismiss the dinosaurs yet either.
well,
All right.
they were
Saturn
alive.
sounds. Ready?
Okay. You can take control.
No, it's on my phone.
Okay.
It's just
Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets.
With all ingredients like hickory ham.
That's what I ate for dinner is a Hot Pocket.
Oh, those are so terrible for you, Heidi.
I know, I had to. I had no choice. It's all I had. And I only had 10 minutes.
It's so similar.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so similar.
Wow.
Sounds like
wow.
screaming things. Same thing.
So I wonder if Gaia herself is screaming out under the onslaught of those gamma rays or whatever you said
Yeah.
hitting
Yeah.
the planet.
Well, let's start looking at this then what we do know. The magnetopause of Earth is, we're right now below, I think it's something like 9%, 7%. I mean, that's how much the magnetopause has been depleted. So that's letting in, we never saw this before, is that now when you have to issue out gamma ray health alerts. Now, let me tell you how big of a problem this is becoming. My wife is the chief medical officer of an assisted living. What's happening now is that we're finding these cosmic rays that are coming in, unabated, by the way, are having an effect on memory, cardiac, balance, psychotic episodes. And so the health effects are becoming much more pronounced.
And Wayne, not to be silly, but if we think about predictive programming, if we go back to the Incredible Hulk TV series, was it not gamma radiation that turned David Banner or whatever his name was into the Incredible Hulk?
Yep.
A dose of gamma radiation?
Yep. Absolutely. And one of the things that I have contended in the videos that I've been doing lately is that we're all now covered by Wi-Fi. And because Wi-Fi is everywhere, we are really getting inundated with radiation is what it is. I mean, that's what it is. That's what Wi-Fi is. And I don't call it Wi-Fi anymore. It's Wi-Fi because it's frying us. And I wonder if the Earth feels that as well. I mean, this is an artificial radio frequency.
I would think she has to feel it at least on some level.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to go in to see what they're saying in the chat room just to get.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now.
We're all so good at checking these chats.
We are.
Yeah. Well, I just tell you, I really have a great appreciation for the group that visits here, and it's just they're smart. They got good questions. And
you're making some really good points in here for sure.
Well, Heidi, I'm a control freak, so I have to look at the chat because I'm a chart. Right?
Yeah, me too. Me too. That's why I'm really looking.
So I kind of titled tonight's program, and by the way, you're both welcome anytime on Friday Night Live, is kind of Voices from the Grave. And I've been thinking about this more and more, that, for instance, Heidi, your story, how you come to reconcile within yourself what the death experience is going to be, how you see yourself going through it. Jeff, the whole thing of having the death experience seminars is to begin to get people out of this mantra that they're in, that it's going to be bucket A or bucket B.
That's right.
There's like bucket C, D, E, F, G, H, I,
Oh,
J.
exactly.
Wayne, somebody's asking in the chat room, and can you talk to us a little bit about the Schumann resonance and what that is? I have a follow-up to that once you do, if you don't mind.
It's a frequency, I think it's 7.86 megahertz.
Okay.
And that is the natural resonance of the Earth. And our bodies, for the longest time, were in a harmonious synchronicity, and the two harmonics balanced each other. something's changed. The resonance now is up at, sometimes it's reading as high as 40, 41. So,
well, you put me onto the Shungite, which
Yes,
and I
I did.
couldn't put it on my head because I was late, but here's my Shungite. But I'm very excited because I'm in touch with the gentleman that's going to be on my channel pretty quickly. And he claims that he has found a way, he's a scientist, that he's found a way to put minerals and stuff into jewelry and those wristband things that you can wear, and it will restore the body to the natural Schumann resonance. And I'm I'm hoping that he's legit. I'm hoping that he's on the level, so we're going to have him on the channel. And if it's legitimate technology, I'm really excited about it.
well, I contend that that's what's happened to us is, in my videos that I've been producing, the problem that I see is that we're being altered. I read today, are you ready for this? Less than 12% of Americans get the necessary daily minerals, folks, and the other vitamins that you need to balance your body.
Because they're eating Hot Pockets, Wayne.
Heidi, we ought to get one of these things. You can get this virtual whack.
Well, I did take vitamins though. I'll say that for those hot pockets.
Heidi, you're twice as healthy as anybody on the screen, so obviously I'm joking with you.
Well, it's the minerals that I don't think that we understand that these bodies really need. I was thinking about this today. Artificial intelligence everywhere, but artificial intelligence needs minerals, metals. Otherwise, it can't exist. Well, neither can we. So, getting on with the thought then of what waits for us afterwards. Can voices from the other side be reached over here? Yes or no? Jeff?
It's complicated.
It's got
Ladies first, Heidi, what do you have in mind?
Yes, let's Heidi, please.
So, okay. I'm going to talk from an astrological.
Okay, thank you. Good.
This is how I look at it. So my chart tends to have this little dark side to it where it can tap into that kind of stuff. Where my chart my intuition is always usually kind of the reverse tarot card, right? It's the Debbie Downer, but it's the person that's going to slap you into reality. Okay. So I can also tap into, because I've done this when I was young, I would tap into, like, I could stare at a mirror and I literally could turn my face and make it look like a monster if I wanted to. Okay, so I could literally do this. And it sounds, so people could say, oh, she's the devil. No, she's not. I can do it. I can do it. I can literally make my mind do weird stuff like this.
And you still can.
Yeah, absolutely, if I want to. But now I can make it look like something else totally different. That was all, honestly, this was all when I was in my Christian stages is when this all stuff happened. I played with a Ouija board one time. Crazy experience. And quite honestly, I said I would never do it again because it was just horrible. But I do believe if I brought a Ouija board back in action right now, it would be completely different because now I have in that control to block it. Because I'll never forget. What if the person and that ghost you're talking to is just negative, just trying to scare you and feed you BS? Mm-hmm. You know, what if it's not? What if it's? How do you know which one's good and which one's bad? We can't do their chart readings. You know, we don't know. So I look at it from, you can tap into it. Everybody has the power to tap into this. Everybody. Whether you choose to take it to extremes, what you choose to do with it. K2 in your chart, and all three of us have a real heavy K2. That's going to be more paranormal stuff. And, you know, like Barbara DeLong, I did her chart, and she's got K2 heavy. And I knew she was going to have this chart. Exactly. Yep. And what she has is exactly what it's K2 Venus, like this conjunction of tapping into, but it's not going to bother you. Like you can shut it off immediately if you want. But then if you do, it blocks out your intuition. I do believe. You have to keep it open. You have to keep it balanced, because this is when people turn a little crazy, is when you take it too much to extremes.
You know, I was just thinking about this the other day on portals, right? You talk about portals opening, and if you break that word down, it really defines porting mortals. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Porting as a means of getting us from one place to the other. So, Jeff, what do you think? Can the other side reach out over here?
Well, let me tell you a little story. And I've shared this on Coast to Coast AM. This is in the book I wrote called Confessions of an Exorcist. Before I went back when I was still a stupid Pentecostal evangelist, 85, 86, 87, I got to spend 2 weeks down in Berchtesgaden, Germany, for a gathering of all of the Assemblies of God in Europe, mainly servicemen. And we stayed at the Hitler Berghof. This was Hitler's own private hotel where he and the elite SS and all of the insiders of the Third Reich
Wow.
would stay. And I was there for 6 weeks over a period of 3 years. And, you know, being a talker like I am and a schmoozer, I got in with the people that own the place and run the place. And they would take me and my buddy, his name is Hermann Kuhn, and he had, you know, great German because he was a German kid by heritage. And they would take us down into all the private areas. We'd go down into all the bunkers and all the trails underneath, and we'd walk around. And I was seeing it, and I didn't say anything to Herman. And then Herman said something to me. We were actually seeing black suited SS officers, apparitions of black suited SS officers sitting in these little alcoves. And we kept hearing this weird voice calling out for somebody named Blondie, whistling, you know, saying, Blondie, Blondie. And we're like, what in the world is that? And again, I'm a Pentecostal evangelist. I don't know anything about anything. But we went up and we were kind of talking to each other, and the caretaker came up and said, oh, you saw our friends, right? Hitler was a teetotaler. He didn't drink. So when they built this place, they didn't put in a bar. And these little alcoves, that's what they told Hitler. Oh, Hitler was upset because there's no place for his men to get a drink. They said, oh, no, these alcoves are the bar. And so there was only about 6 of them. So it would always be the high SS officers that got the table. So that's why we were seeing them sitting there. But this whistling that we would hear in this Blondie that we would hear. Guess what Adolf Hitler's dog's name was?
Blondie.
Blondie.
Yeah.
We were hearing, and to this day, it makes my hair stand up. We were hearing, like Rex says, hair standing up where I don't have hair. The follicles are even standing up. We were hearing Adolf Hitler call his dog. Now, I don't think he was still there calling his dog, but I think either the frequency was transferring across time or it was still resident there. So similar to what you heard on your EVP, I have heard Adolf Hitler call his dog.
Okay, I believe that. Heidi, what did you experience when you did the Ouija board? Because Jeff, the energy that you felt, that was very recent energy. I mean,
comparatively, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just curious.
And this is when I also, because so per Vedic astrology, I'm a Scorpio ascendant with K2 and Mars conjunct in the first house. And Uranus, outer planets, and Neptune, all that crap's all in, like, real close. You know, it's all right there. So when I was in a K2 Dasha in college. So this was my first 2 years. I went to this school in West Virginia, this state school called Potomac State College, which was a blast, but it was in the mountains. It was just a lot of fun. So we played with the Ouija board. We were just dabbling in it. We went out and got one because we heard that it was a really small college, so it was haunted, blah, blah, blah. Well, we get this Ouija board, and because one weekend, my roommate and I, Danielle, we were out of town. We went home for the weekend, and the RA came in and she was like, what were you guys doing this weekend? Your room was like, there was like smoke blowing out of it. Who did you have over there? And we were like, what do you mean? We weren't even there.
Whoa.
And I got really freaked out. And then Danielle, one time she was sitting on her computer and literally the blinds just were like did this really weird thing. I mean, it was no joke. I have
So a smoke actually, that is tapping into the ether for sure. Well, and blinds moving, right?
Blind, I saw blinds move, but the smoke, I didn't see any of this, you know.
Yeah,
so
thinking, well, someone did.
Looking at the wrong room, you know, that's what my mind's thinking. But then the other guy said the same thing, and then she got scared that she wanted to leave. Like the RA was crying because she when she found out we weren't there. So apparently our room somebody died in that was raped and killed by a cop on her way home. Okay, so this girl's energy apparently is still there. So I say, let's go get a Ouija board. My little destructive self, I want to go get a Ouija board. So we go get a Ouija board, and my friend Courtney and I, So we got real into ghost hunting for a little bit. Okay, we went to this haunted house, this place we thought was haunted. We told them we were doing a report, totally made up this BS story, said it was for college and just wanted to go tour the house. Like we were really into this. And
Excellent.
so we get the Ouija board out. It's real dark. Everybody's freaked out. You know, I'm not at all. I ask it questions. So I'm not touching it. Okay. First I touched it, but then all my friends were touching it. There was probably 5 of us in the room. And I didn't have my hands on it. And I was sitting there and it was like, what's the name? I said, what's the name of my uncle that's dead? And it was like Jim. It was Jimmy. Okay. I wasn't even touching it. None of these girls knew anything about me either. Okay. And then I started asking it weird questions like, oh, then I was messing with it. Because I got, it was stupid. We were a little tipsy. So long story short, everybody got scared. People started crying because it was saying really bad stuff like F you or
You probably pissed it off.
We did. Okay, we did. So then my friend Courtney and I take it into her room because everybody was crying. We take it down to her dorm and we're laying there and we started asking questions again. We're like, are you mad? And it just said F you, like spelling it out fast. Like it was crazy. It was just like slut, whore, like the horrible things. And we were like, and we just got so scared. And I said, we got to get this thing out of here. We took it, we opened up the window, we threw it out the door, out the window. The next day it was, first keep this in mind, the next day it was gone, all right, missing, but the little stick was still there. So Courtney and I jump in the bed and we were laying there and I'll never forget this till the day I die. I felt like somebody went like this really hard and like pushed me into the bed. Really, like it was not normal.
Whoa.
Courtney goes, did you feel that? I have like crazy chills just talking about this. And we started crying. We were like, no. But then we went out. That's when we started going ghost hunting. Because so it like sparked something in us, you know.
Did you ever find the planchette again?
Ready for this? The Ouija board was back in the box in our storage unit.
Oh, whoa.
Heidi, are you serious?
Swear to God in my life, God strike me dead right now. It's no lie.
How many in the chat room? And we got 211 people in there. Have ever actually interfaced with the Ouija board?
That might be the best Ouija board story I've ever heard, Heidi.
I mean, that is absolutely.
That's right up there with the one screaming when you throw it into the fire, which I think might be apocryphal. But that is, if that comes from Heidi Vandenberg, that's true. Heidi doesn't make stuff.
I'll make up. I'm not one of those people.
Not something stupid like that. That's amazing.
That is just freaky.
Wayne, what do you think about that, good Christian boy that you are?
Well, I'll just tell you, I had an experience, as you know, with a group of Satanists that were going to take my life, but I had a similar kind of an experience with the Satanic Bible. I actually met Anton LaVey, and this damn thing kept showing up. I mean, I'd go over to a friend's house and on the coffee table, there's the Satanic Bible. And I'm looking at him at what time did you even start thinking about this? And we took out one time that took it out and burned the thing. And it always seemed to come back. And so I don't know. I think that you can attach an energy so strong to a belief or an entity and give it form.
There's no doubt.
The Ouija board, I think that it is controlled by a force that has been around for a very long time.
Now, do you think it's one force that controls all Ouija boards, or?
Well,
I don't think so.
No, I think that this gets back. I'm reading a book right now on a professor who's probably one of the most world-renowned Sumerologists. This is now a new field of studying Sumer. Over 100,000 tablets have now been unearthed. We now know that they actually are the originators of virtually all religions of the world.
Oh, absolutely.
And what I'm drawn to is their gods, their system of gods. And there's good credence that there are deities, whether you want to call them aliens, whether you want to call them whatever, that have taken control of certain aspects of who we are.
And you can let and that's where people, I think, can turn like, and get possessed, because you can take that so far
Yeah.
when you have that personality that can go that deep. And a lot of people have that, you know, so if it goes that far, yeah, you can get, I believe, possessed. You have to cut that off. Like, you have to have that balance where you need to be able to say no. Like, Jeff and I, we seem to like be scared of that little way, you know, because I heard when you and Barbara when all four of you were talking about it, Jeff's like, well, I don't want to channel things. And I'm kind of the same way. Like, I don't want to I'm like a non-channeler. I don't want to channel, because what if that channeler, what if that's like, it's like, I don't know. I get nervous about that because I just know what can happen because I think of my past life, whatever I was doing on my past.
Heidi, great question in the chat room, Wayne, if I may.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, since you and the girls were doing that Ouija board thing, did you ever do the thing where, you know, everybody puts one finger underneath the person and you lift them up?
Yes.
You did that. And it worked. And it worked.
I was lifted.
You were lifted.
I was lifted.
With just fingers. No way it could have possibly been.
Went like this and lifted me up. And I'm not like this. I mean, back then, actually, that's probably when I was my heaviest too. My freshman, like 30 you gain in college, you know? So, because I probably weigh 135 now, 130, 135. And I'm telling you, back then, there was probably 5 girls. They were all thin, you know? Yeah, that all works. It works. You can make those things happen. I believe you can make a demon. Did you ever see that movie with the moth? Gosh, what was that movie? And there was a moth as the symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're not talking about Signs of the Lambs, are you?
No, but I do like that movie. It was a weird movie about ghosts, and they were in a hotel room, and this phone rang. The hotel phone was ringing. I feel like sometimes you can make the phone ring, like the devil or whoever, the bad spirits can make things like that happen.
Absolutely.
You know, like, because it's all energy, it's all electro, whatever. I don't know.
I've had demons leave me voicemails, literally.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. By the way, I think one of the best haunted movies I've seen is 1409, John Cusack.
That was absolutely scary as can be.
Mothman Prophecies. There it is.
Mothman Prophecies.
Mothman Prophecies.
Yep, thank you.
And if you want to watch a movie that really gets into the reality of it, and if you want to learn about real demonism, watch, I believe it's Exorcist number 3.
Love The Exorcist. That's
I mean, Exorcist number 3 will make you forget about all the rest of them. It was the most on point exorcism paranormal movie I maybe have ever seen.
So are those voices then from the grave? Or can we say that demons, demon possession, exorcism, manifestations of spirits, entities, are they speaking from the grave, or are they just speaking from another dimension?
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
I think they're illusions. I think they're illusions in your own head sometimes too.
And I still say yes.
So I do
all of the above.
Well, I've been in a church service where, you know, we actually, I mean, I saw it was some weird stuff. I mean, when you start seeing books that literally start popping up out of the back of the pews, I mean, yeah. So there is.
That was my job for 20 years.
Can I tell you something? You have the power to move those books. You, in particular, you have that chart.
Now that's a good me.
You know? Yeah, I told you that. You have all those planets to like do the spells and do that kind of stuff.
Well, tell people. You can tell people a little bit about that. Go ahead. What is it about? What is it about me?
You have so many planets in
Wayne Crowley, ladies and gentlemen.
But listen, Wayne, you know what makes complete sense is what you just said. That you said you were almost attacked by Satanism people.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know much about Satanism people at all. I don't know anything about that. I just only hear the story. So I would be interested to hear what you say about that. But that chart with that Purva Bada Padra Nikshatra, that Uttara Bada Padra Nikshatra, the Kritika Nikshatra, that you have the Rohini, that can really tap into the energy that's like people that do the rituals. Now, what kind of rituals are you going to do? What kind of spells you're going to put on people? It can make somebody literally, I think, go that Satanism way. Yes. But or I think it can make somebody be a powerful spiritual healer. They can literally magnetically heal people from the phones.
Somebody put R.W. Crowley.
You know, and heal people like that. because you have Sadabisha too, which is another one of those, like, you feel people's pain. You can, so if those energies are not put to good use and you're not aware of them and you get involved in the wrong crowd, well, I can tell you exactly where that's going to go. So I kind of feel like it's like those external influences that kind of, you hang out with the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
You have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
You look where you go. You could end up in jail. Same
Yeah.
thing. It's not jail, but
and I can see that in my youth, Heidi, as you and I listen, when she started telling me about this, folks, I was like, holy crap. Like, get out of my head. But anyway.
And it's funny because when I saw your chart, I was like, no way. I just didn't even believe, I didn't know you at all. So, but then, everything else makes sense. The IT, I didn't know that until recently. So, but that's all in your chart.
Yeah.
Wow. Like that right there, all those planets in Ardra, I think you have. I mean, it's just interesting how it all works out.
You see, this is
we got a saying down here in the South that says, if you lie down with dogs, you get up with fleas.
Oh God, that's funny.
We got one in Colorado that says if you fly with eagles, you don't get crapped on.
That's true.
I heard if that happens to you, it's actually really good luck.
Well, it happened to me on
Really?
my first honeymoon, and let me say that was not lucky.
Well, where I was supposed to get married in Florida, it burned to the ground a week before my wedding.
Really?
Yeah, in the Keys. That should have been an omen right there.
And you still went through with it.
Yeah, I didn't care. I was like, oh, we'll just find another place, whatever. It was no big deal.
Well, it's very interesting that when you talk about energies as we growing up, for myself, at the age of 15, I was on my own, and I was heavy into psychedelics, but this was a little different way. I was actually part of a control group that we went in, and they taught us, number one, they did experiments on how our memory was, how we could focus. They gave us complex puzzles. And part of that, they also taught us about meditation.
Did they pay you?
They gave us really good LSD.
Oh.
Yeah. I was 16 years old. They thought I was 18, but the point was, and come to find out, when they were doing those experiments, it was happening all over the country. The CIA was doing a lot of experiments in colleges and with students that were actually seeing what were the effects, particularly of the psychic aspect, telekinesis, not teleporting, but telepathically. And it's quite amazing. I had a number of out-of-body experiences while I was on LSD, and it was very interesting. So you're right, Heidi, about attracting sometimes the negative element to that. And yeah.
And I've noticed, Rahu and Ketu do this. And if it's conflicting to the moon, this is when, I would be very interested to see some people that have been demonically possessed. That's a good study actually to see what kind of, because I've done the serial killer thing, that tends to be like more of a pleasure problem, emotional mess because of traumatic things where you just become unemotional sometimes.
Jeff, what did you experience? I mean, talk to us about your days when you were a Pentecostal evangelist and you were hanging out with some of the heavyweights back in the day.
I was, and I was hanging out with them at the beginning, but then I got kind of kicked out of the circle because I know this will shock everyone that knows me, but I popped off to them and called them for doing something wrong, and they threw me out. But these idiots would go ahead, Wayne. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, imagine that.
Imagine that. Yeah. These idiots, when they went to cast out demons, and this was back in the day of cassette tapes, instead of just casting out the demons, you've seen A.A. Allen do this. They would talk to these demons and like poke them with sticks and get them to manifest and have the people foam and throw up and all this stuff so they could record it on a cassette tape and make money out of it. Ooh. And I called them out on that. So I got the left foot of fellowship from that little cadre. But I did it the way the Christ did it. If they started to act up, I mean, I was very point blank. And I was doing it in the name of Jesus back then. In the name of Jesus, shut up. and come out. And guess what? They would shut up and come out. I always used to joke, if The Exorcist was a Pentecostal movie, it would have been about 14 seconds long. Shut up in the name of Jesus and come out. Boom, fade to black. That's it. So I didn't play any of this nonsense, Wayne. I was straight up, but I learned a hard lesson. And I'll just share this with you real quickly. They called me out about 3 a.m. to go help this lady. She lived in a warehouse that had been converted into condos, ritzy Portland, Oregon. And she was on the 3rd floor, and the boiler room that put the heat was down in the basement, and it would blow up through the middle of the building in this shaft. And there was these grates in the apartments. And she was so possessed or oppressed by the spirit that she would lay on those grates until it would cook her. Her skin would actually start to cook. So they call me over and say, "Hey, Jeff, come cast out this demon." It's 3 a.m. I didn't want to be there. I'm tired. So I go in and I start wrestling, quote unquote, with this demon. It took me about 45 minutes. I hadn't said a word to the lady except trying to get the demon out. The demon leaves. She sits up and looks around and says, "Where'd my friend go?" Boom, the demon's back. So the first thing you got to do is make sure the person wants to be free, or you're just going to put them through a lot of pain and yourself through a lot of wasted energy. So, I mean, I did a lot of stupid things to learn the lessons, but 36 years later, still being stupid probably, but I've learned a lot of things not to do. And it's real, it's true, but you've got the power over it. And I like something that Wayne says. And I started out casting out demons in the name of Jesus. Then I started casting them out in the name of Yeshua. And then I came to realize that it wasn't the name, it was my intention. I could have been casting them out in the name of Mickey Mouse and they'd have come out. And like Wayne now says, if you got problems, and I endorse this 100%, I command you by the name of Jeffrey Allen Daugherty to leave. I command you by the name of Robert Wayne Steiger. I command you in the name of Heidi Ann Vandenberg. Get out. Use your own name. Use your own power. Yeah. That's the most powerful thing you got, brother.
Boy, I am not arguing with that. I mean, Heidi, when you do a person's reading, the name, and Jeff as well with you, when you do a reading, the name is important, right?
No, I don't need names. I don't need
Christian needs names for numerology.
I don't need anything.
Numerology. Okay, numerology, you need the name, correct?
Mm-hmm. Numerology, you can. That definitely could be important.
Heidi, is your middle name Ann?
Yes.
How in the world did I know that?
I was going to say, how did you know that? You know,
it just
you delivered me, Jeff. Remember?
Sometimes it just. I mean, it just that's like, word of knowledge right there. Where
come from?
Yeah.
That's word of knowledge right there, brother.
Yeah. Well, you know, speaking of that, it's quite amusing as I look back now. Is that particularly where I came out of the Kenneth Copeland and Kenneth Hagin, where it's really faith. Faith is the key motivator to everything. And as I study faith now, it's us. The faith, if it isn't coming from you, then it isn't going to impact you, because you're going to either believe it or you're not going to believe it. And what got me convinced, Heidi, that you have a sign, there is something to what you do. This Veda astrology is like, there's foundation to it.
And it's her too, Wayne. It's not just what it's her.
It's a gifting.
Gifted.
It's a gifting.
Rex jokes and calls her the young oracle, but he's not too far off.
No. What have you found, Heidi, in your experience now? How long have you been at this? What, 5 years?
5 years, yeah. But I was studying it for my own benefit, not really to do people's charts. It was just to control my own life, to keep out all the bad seeds in my life.
And has it helped you?
Says, "I'm out of here. This stuff is pure evil."
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Well, you know.
well.
So always got to get those couple that come in and say this. So, but yeah, really, I mean, it helped me forgive people when I'm mad at somebody or I couldn't understand why somebody did something to me. I could accept it and I could say, oh, it's in their chart. You know, that definitely helped. And now I take advantage of it to good things. Like I know it's a good time to do this. But quite honestly, I don't really, when you look at your own chart and you know astrology, you go down a dark hole sometimes you can't really figure it out.
Yeah,
you know,
I could see that.
Too much. And if you look too much, there's too many things.
Yeah,
so,
I can see that.
And by the way, in the chat room, I did not deliver Heidi from any demon. She was making a joke. When she was delivered, the doctor that delivered her was named Dr. Daugherty.
Yeah. No joke. That's so weird too.
Oh, that tickles me. People get really off on tangents, and
Yeah, Dr. Daugherty delivered Heidi. It was a little joke, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah,
And you know what I suggest, like for the people that want to know, I mean, I do these live readings on my YouTube channel. We just did 4 hours of readings. Jeff did it with us. We did
what's
tarot.
your channel? Tell everyone.
It's channel 27.
Okay.
If you just type that in, and I'm in the comments here, so I'm
Okay.
gonna say hi.
Good.
But
And
yeah, I mean, you can see this in action and literally watching the comments. If you watch live, nobody's like, oh, that's not me. You know, that's not me. And
Okay.
these are just mini readings. The real readings are an hour long. I go deep. It's a lot different. I don't say a lot of the things that I would say on, YouTube about people. But yeah, it's
all I can say is this, folks, from a personal testimony, is that when Heidi, we only spent 5 minutes, and she began to say things that I didn't even know who she was. And you hear this and you're going, all right, you got two aspects you can take this. You can take it with a rational mind and say, all right, what's going on here? Or you can take the mind that I was, as my Christendom conditioned me, was that, oh, that is of the dark side.
Well, Gloria Copeland did it all the time too.
All the time. I mean, listen, I can't tell you how many times I saw people go up there and have Kenneth Copeland or Gloria lay hands on them and then begin to speak words of prophecy and begin to tell them things about their life. So what's the difference here?
Ken and Gloria were witches. They just didn't want to admit it.
They got rich.
Rich
Yeah.
witches.
And I
Rich
think that's another
witches.
thing. It's like, how far do you take it? Like, what do you do with it? Are you using it with the right intentions? I use it, only tell people certain things. I don't play God. I point out people's positives, tell them they're bad so they believe it. But I only give them it's more of an inspirational, that's why I call it coaching, because sometimes people need just to hear that that's what they'd be good at, because a lot of it's self-confidence. So
Yeah.
I use it for a good, positive things. So you can get over some of your baggage, not so much,
Well, I'll put it this way, Heidi. I look at it like, all right, when I was going up through the corporate ladder and back in my early 30s and really was aggressively climbing it, they used to give the Briggs-Meyer test.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. Well, come to find out, it has absolutely no foundation at all. However, companies spent billions of dollars in licensing fees. And then, Heidi, you can take a look at a person and say, all right, you have a gifting or a tendency to be more like this. What is the difference?
Heidi will do it for half that billions of dollars.
Exactly.
I could weed out all the bad and horrible workers that you need to get rid of in seconds. Who's going to be the thief? Who's the one you can trust? And here's the thing, maybe it's at a different time. Maybe they were a thief when they were 20, but now they're 40, they learned a valuable lesson and they can change. So there's a lot of those things that you literally could. I always say that. I mean, ideally you could set up businesses so successful this way with the right staff, with the right charts that are going to be compatible with you. Because it's not just, is this person a thief? Is this person respect you enough to not steal from you?
Yeah. And to say that we don't change in our life, we're all changed. And I agree with you. I mean, lessons of life are just that. And it's odd because as I'm reading in this book, one of the tablets they found that they dated about 3000 BC was a story about a father reprimanding his son. And his son is basically an ingrate. His father says, listen, I never put you in the fields. You never had to go behind an ox. I sent you to school. And now you just are hanging out in gangs, believe it or not. They actually had those 3000 BC. The father said, you have not learned from the gods of what good behavior is. And it's interesting how back then, 3000, what would be 5000 years ago, they used the stars to chart the course of the people's lives. So there's good foundation, Heidi, in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're just taking it to help give you good positive guidance and get through this crazy life without hurting somebody and without lashing out and even hurting other people's feelings because you're so miserable, because realistically, most people are destructive and, get jealous and stuff because they are miserable. And that's the problem. If they knew maybe what they were supposed to be doing in life and could feel like they were doing the right thing, because that's why a lot of people are just lost. I mean,
I agree.
how can we not be lost? My God. I don't watch TV. Why? Because I know it makes you go lost. Like it's just that type of thing.
Just scanning the headlines these days is enough to go. Did y'all read this today that they are reporting out of China? They have done the first successful head transplant.
Like, that's just absurd. I mean,
what is going on?
Yeah.
I mean, and I guess we still got down to the core question we had today. Can the voices from the other side speak to us over on this side? And can vice versa? Can we speak to them? I think that there's apparently good evidence that I think that we can.
Well, China's ahead in that game, aren't they?
Hey, listen, if this turns out to be true, it's an Italian scientist. He's been trying for the last 4 or 5 years to find a country that would actually allow him to do this. Now, one other thing I want to bring out. In 2014, when President Obama was in Russia meeting with President Malkovich, whoever the guy was that started with an M, I was looking at a news clip. He thought he was off mic, and he had just gotten off the stage with Obama. He was talking to a Russian reporter, and the president, Markov, said that in their briefcase, they have something besides the nuclear codes, that the president has a special top secret file that in the event of a nationwide, worldwide emergency catastrophe, there is a file on how to deal with the aliens, the hybrids that are in the population.
Interesting.
Isn't it? What y'all think? Heidi, do you think that there could be other species here living with us? And could we potentially find out about them if we could ever do a reading on them?
I mean, I'm open to it. I don't go down that whole, like, for me, I'm sure they live here. I'm sure they're here, but it's hard for me to believe it until I see them, so.
Well, if you ever do a chart on one that comes out really weird, let me know.
Well, that would be interesting to find, there's a lot of people that could borderline, I think, be some aliens. They're shark,
Wayne, they didn't perform the head transplant on a living person.
They did not. Okay, thank you.
It was onto a cadaver.
A cadaver. Well, I guess that was.
Look at the robot.
And the cadaver survived.
The reanimation, right? What were you saying about the robots?
I said, just look at that robot that they made. I mean, that's it's when you can do that much, it's just starting to look a little fishy, in my opinion. You're messing with things that, when we start making men get pregnant and just start doing those types of things, not saying there's anything wrong with it at all. That's fine if you want to do that. But the point is, it's getting a little weird.
That's weird.
That's weird.
Getting a little weird. Okay. I don't want to offend anybody, you know how some people are, but it's weird. Like, things are getting a little out of hand.
I don't want to be an earthworm. I really don't.
I mean,
well, we're going down that road. I think that unfortunately it's happening more and more. And when you said I think so many people are so looking for something to center on. And, I know this, when you told me about this about myself, it opened up other ideas of me. When I face a situation, you become much more sensitive and more aware. Jeff, do you find that with the people that you counsel with?
Yeah, absolutely. And usually the first sentence out of their mouth is, I had my chart done by Heidi. So a lot of my work is done for me. Literally.
Well, folks, I tell you, I'll do some promotion for both of my guests tonight. Heidi, do you do readings and do you take them on a request?
Yeah, so I'm actually, if you want, I could do just a couple little ones here too. This is just because some people put their birthdays in here, so I was entering them. I could tell them their signs and stuff. But yes, I do them on. If you go to my website, oneofakindbyheidi.org. But I'm really behind right now. So it's at least a 30-day wait. And that's after you submit through PayPal. So
Okay.
it's just kind of, but I do live readings too. So if you need something on the fly, you can do those. And,
You want to do someone who just gives us one of their birthday, just pick someone randomly?
Well, we could do a few. I have Brad in here because he did 11/26/84.
Okay.
11:26 p.m.
Okay.
There's somebody else I found, but they didn't put if it was AM or PM. So
okay.
Let's see. I can do just so people can see that this is no joke. I mean, this really does work. And watch how Jeff and I will do these readings. We did them just a few minutes ago.
All right, folks.
We'll do a couple. These are just mini things just to talk about your personality a little bit.
Okay.
But you'll see. So Brad, that's who we're gonna do first.
Somebody says Jeff and Heidi just took over Steiger's show.
Listen, I don't mind sitting in the passenger seat.
We'll just do like two. But it's good to see that, like, if you can, that's why I do the live things, so people can actually see that this does work.
All right. So you've got someone, and Jeff, if you can take someone randomly out here, I know they're flying by so fast I can't even see them.
Yeah, they really are. I'll write one down here.
All right, Brad. You are a Leo ascendant, just like Mr. Trump.
You got to have where you're born, the time you were born, and the day you were born.
All very creative, kind of like very charismatic, using your creative self-expression. It's in the nakshatra of Maga. Maga is literally the guy that walks into the room and people just kind of are known to notice them or drawn to them, and kind of sitting on a throne too. Because people like to have out-of-body experiences. They're interested in their family roots, their ancestral roots. Sometimes if you do your lineage and look back at that, you can see possibly if you go down the line, you could have been related to somebody in, somewhere prestigious down the line.
Excellent.
I would say also your moon is in Capricorn, so you're very practical and like you think through things. You can be intense, to say the least. Like if you're mad, it's like the switch turns on, but very practical and very grounded. Like you think in a very, practical way. And you're a truth seeker. You have Sun conjunct K2 and Scorpio in the 4th house. I would say issues possibly with some past life, past roots, family roots, issues possibly with the mother, maybe a little bit with power struggles with the mother, something with the mother. Can't get too much into that, but anything you do personally, you're gonna have a lot of, you need to find your career and use your creativity. So your karma is to try to balance home life, work life, and your career. So what happens with this tends to be like there's Rahu and Kritika. You're worried about finances. You like to think about finances, money, not all the time, but then at home, it's this like, you might not feel like you'll go to work when you're not happy. You'll work too much. These people work too much sometimes, or you need to work on your own, or you'll have issues with working. But once you find it, right now, I'm going to say too, you're in your Rahu Dasha. This is great for career. You definitely can have some serious success right now. Anything you want to do. I mean, you have some really good things coming, and you probably just had a rough, interesting to say the least, year and a half. Transits were going through your first house. Look at Donald Trump, what happened to him? You get success, but it comes with a price. So now it's going to be just kind of clearing out what no longer serves you. But
it's amazing how this works, Heidi. I pulled the threshold card from Barbara DeLong's deck of cosmic initiation. What does the threshold card say? It says you're about to cross a threshold. A new aspect of yourself is being brought forward. New understanding is opening up to you, a new beginning. You're about to transcend from a difficult time into an era of new beginnings and power. Bam.
Hey, Brad. Wow. Does that resonate?
One last thing for you.
And that happens over and over and over, Wayne. It's amazing.
Wow.
I would say try to focus on balance and maybe try to be a little more optimistic and kind of open up. So the thing with you, when you're a Capricorn moon, it's very hard to think outside of the practical box. You're kind of like, there's parts of you that you're very spiritual, you're very intuitive, but you might block it out because you're like, you second guess it. You're like, there's no way that could happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are things you need to just kind of work on is trying to open up your emotions to tapping into that kind of stuff, because you definitely are somebody that is a good listener, somebody that's, can really persuade the masses.
Ideal. Heidi, I think that is fantastic. Anyone want to do one more?
We could do Christy, or we could do.
Okay.
Did you get one, Jeff? Did you write down something?
I got one written down.
Okay, go ahead. Let's do the one you wrote down.
March 1st, 1981, 11:21 a.m. West Allis, Allis, Wisconsin.
A-L.
Allis.
Okay. 11:21 a.m. you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Gemini ascendant. You are 2 degrees. So this 11:21, March 1st, 1981. Okay.
Right.
So Gemini ascendant, Nakshatra of Mrigashira. So this Geminis are very, they can be kind of the twins, so they're ruled by Mercury, great communicators. You're like an encyclopedia because you have Mercury conjunct K2. So very smart when it comes to research and knowledge. My old boss had this. He was like the encyclopedia of, it could be history, or it can be like somebody that's a historian, art history, because you have Venus and Saturn and Mars conjunct in Aquarius. Also, your moon is in Purvashada, which is all about thinking with higher beliefs, thinking you really value higher beliefs and higher knowledge. But sometimes, it's with Neptune, it can be like, there's some blocks there sometimes, you have Saturn conjunct Jupiter, you're a fact checker, you want facts. So higher knowledge for you is going to be, you want more facts, and you're a perfectionist, you like things a certain way. You want to know the facts a certain way, and you're probably really good with your hands. And Gemini ascendant Mrigashira, you're always going to be searching. Also, this is the symbolism. This is a deer. So a deer, like the animal, a deer's in the woods roaming and searching. So sometimes this nakshatra ascendant can just kind of have an unfulfilled, like what's next? But great for research, because you're always going to research. You're a fact checker, like beyond belief here. Okay. And you are also definitely healing powers. Venus, Sun, and Mars in Aquarius, music, healing people with incurable diseases, working with your hands. You have all that in your chart as well. This is a very powerful chart. Very much. 12, 11, 10, 9. Maybe strict upbringing at some point of your life with, real beliefs in religion. And okay, you're having a Rahu return in the 2nd house. This could be money that focuses on finances right now. Also can be inheritances. This is a Rahu K2 return. Big change for you. I mean, serious change, death and rebirth. So you're in a Rahu Dasha. I can't say this to you anymore. Now, this could be relationships too. Just a lot of change, okay? Lots of change. And relationships, it looks like to me. Yep, absolutely. So it could be at one end to bring in a new one. Could be, I would say, yeah, relationships. That's too much to go. Jeff, did you pull a card?
Yeah, I did. What I pulled was the commitment card, and it goes right along with what you're talking about. Commitment means, like Heidi was saying, you got a lot going on. It's time to rededicate to yourself. It's time to commit to the evolution of your spirit. It's time to make a conscious promise to yourself to take a stand, like she was saying. Be determined to reach forward. Be determined to shut out the noise. Be determined to grow towards your potential. Recognize that you've got all this stuff going, and recognize you need to focus. Recognize you need to commit to this new direction. Healing is coming into your life. The journey towards growth can now be resumed. Have faith in yourself and let it renew the promises that you've made to yourself.
And you are going to have, if you have any creative projects coming up, because Jupiter just went into your 5th house, or business or stock market investing, money, business, any type of business, the 5th house is intelligence, emotions, romance, creativity, business, entertainment, advisor. It's astrology, media, writing, anything like that. Victory card. Like this is a big, probably endings and renew, refix.
Exactly. Renew. And would you agree that if this person really focuses on what they want to do, it's going to blow them up in a good way?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you can never have your hands in too many different pots because you're very
commit.
Wow. Well, one other person in here, Dalton Gaming, is saying that this would make a believer out of him. So 11/27/64, I guess.
What's his time of birth, Wayne?
Dalton, what is your time of birth?
All right. If he doesn't have it, I'll even do something I don't do. But
maybe he's not here anymore. I don't know. Okay.
All right. So him.
I can't see him in the chat room anymore. So, all right, let's get someone that we can give the time here. Someone run stardom.
Have you done Rune Star Dragon before?
I don't think so. No. Nope. I have not done that.
Let her rip, Wayne.
March 9th, 1967. 10:50 a.m. Matt, how do you pronounce that, Jeff? I'm gonna have to get him. It's going to.
It's MANIITSOG Greenland.
Yes, he's Danish.
I've been to Greenland.
Sounds beautiful.
It's not as beautiful as Iceland. Trust me.
M-A-N, what did you say? M-A-N.
MANIITSOQ.
Okay, here it is. 06. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, this is interesting. So I'm going to give you
March 9th, right? 1967, 10:50.
Yeah, another Gemini here. You're a Gemini ascendant too, 27 degrees, all about creating things and being very creative, business people, natural entrepreneurs. You're in the nakshatra of Purnavastu. Purnavastu is somebody that has affinity to the stars, affinity to the heavens. They're lucky. They can bounce back through anything. They could be thrown to they could, lose everything and come back. And the more you give, the more that comes back to you as well. Purnavastu is also very spiritual, but more like a celestial, spiritual type of nakshatra. So you're ruled by Mercury. You could have had, some strict upbringing with religion and stuff, or maybe, strict family, just because you have a lot of planets in your 9th house. And you have a sun, moon, and Mercury conjunct. So maybe strict parents, strict upbringing type of thing. You have K2 conjunct Mars too. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd be really surprised to know if you had kids and if you even wanted kids. And if you have kids, you might not. K2 conjunct Mars, I have this in my 1st house. This is a very intense, when you're angry, you're angry. It's like, hell break.
Clear out of the way, huh?
No joke. And when you're mad, you're mad. But this is great. Like, you're an investigator. You're great at selling. Like, you'd be a really good salesperson if it's something you believe in. Good business trader, maybe even real estate, maybe even selling surgical tools or instruments or something like this. I know it's kind of random, but Swati is very good this is a good business chart. And you're a good speaker, good leader, good speaker. But you're a free spirit. You're probably really like music too.
Wow.
You could even work in a hospital, actually. Like that would, you have something kind of like that, or maybe you have thought about it, or very spiritual though. Very spiritual and psychic. The transits you have. Okay. This is money once again. 2nd house, 8th house. Inheritances, it's death and rebirth, endings. You could also get an inheritance possibly, but you could also don't be spending crazy amounts of money. But with Rahu going on your Jupiter like this, I would say this is money that could come in, speaking potentials that could come in, business that could come in. Jupiter's in your 5th. Couldn't be any better of a time for you to start something like this.
Wow.
Strength, justice. There's lots of going on in your life. New beginnings. You just had 3 cards, major arcana cards. Maybe there's relationship things. These look pretty intense. So
wow.
It started out with that. So
Wow.
That is
Happy
like, wow.
family. That looks happy and promising. So, yeah. Okay. What about you, Jeff? Do you have any cards for them?
Yeah, and it's just, more of the same. The Virgo card from Barbara DeLong's deck of Cosmic Initiation. And Virgo is just what Heidi's talking about. Ordered, balanced, investigatory, order and structure, provides channels for future works, seek a balance between your spirit and your intellect. You're always seeking perfection. It can be found. And once you find it, you can manifest it. Very big service. You're into service, like Heidi was saying, serving people, helping people. And again, like our last person, with all of this that you got going, think about your service and think about finding a concentrated effort and outlet for it.
Yeah, and Satabisha Moon, this is the 100 healers, addictive tendencies, sometimes mystical healers, musicians, medical minds, great judges, people that think with like a very balanced mindset.
Yep.
At least try to. Can be sometimes complicated illnesses. Sometimes you know how to heal complicated illnesses with like music and just doing weird things that nobody else can do. Star watching, sometimes you can be stubborn with your beliefs, secretive, lonely, sometimes, when you have all that energy in Aquarius, it can definitely be the person, this is how you think too, where you like your space, you like your solitude, and you do not want to be controlled. And you like your freedom, 100%, big time.
Wow. This has just been great. Thank you two. Folks, I tell you, you see, this is why I see this substance. And as you can see, these people, it obviously spoke to them directly.
Yeah. Where do we get that crystal ball fired up?
How does that work? Now that one you want to show that to everyone? That is just a beautiful.
This is the crystal ball right here. It's about an 8-inch crystal ball, and I'm still getting it charged up and learning how to use it. So that should be interesting.
It's got a beautiful glow to it. I can say.
Well, there's a candle behind it. So.
Okay. Well, it's beautiful. I can tell you on that. Heidi, thank you again for, there's a lot of people still in here. Now I just, I don't want to take away your time. If you want to continue, there's over 180.
I don't mind at all. This is all what right, I've done 4 hours of them. Why not another 10, 15 minutes? We're good.
All right.
Yeah. So wait, and you know what? Brad just came in. So Brad, I did your chart. Rune said that makes a lot of sense. That's right.
Dalton Gaming, you're back in here. She needs to know your time of birth.
Yeah.
And if you want to throw out some questions for the rods, if Wayne says that's okay, we can do that as well.
Go ahead. Listen, this is a time for exploration. Anyone got anything for Jeff on the rods? Tell him how the rods work, Jeff.
Well, if somebody knows how they work, they can tell me. All I know is if I ask them questions, yes or no, I've never seen them be wrong yet.
Okay.
Heidi, have you ever done Wayne's chart? Violet Flame is asking.
Yes, I have.
By the way, before we let you go, Heidi, once we get off, I want to ask you something on that off air.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm gonna. He's done my chart too.
All right. So
if you've done a show with me, that's probably the first question I've asked you is, hey, do you know what time you're born? Yeah.
All right.
Or if you met Heidi in a bar, that's the first question she asked.
Dalton said he can't remember, but I just seen someone in here. Sage said May 29th, 1971, 12:45 a.m. and we need your place of birth, Sage.
So try to get that, and then
Hartford, Connecticut.
And it's got to be exactly right, guys. While we're waiting, Violet Flame asks, are chemtrails designed to terraform the planet?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Says no.
Okay.
We're going to do 2 Jeremy's because it's his birthday in like 2 hours. Happy birthday,
nice.
Jeremy.
Happy birthday, Jeremy.
2%. Okay, give me that May one again, please. Whoever, what was it? May. I was putting this one in.
Somebody's saying that Charles Manson died. I didn't see that.
May 29th.
He went to the hospital.
Yeah, May 29th, 1971, Heidi. Did he die? I know he was in there. I don't know where that soul's going. Anyone got a question for Jeff?
Is Charles Manson dead? No.
He's gonna live forever. Oh, God.
I actually had an appointment to interview him, but
Did you really?
yeah, he backed out at the last minute.
5:29:71. Time. I'm sorry. A little sidetracked here. What is the time of this person?
Oh, let's see. I had it here a second ago. What were you? 12:40.
And just the city again. I know you said it, but
Hartford, Connecticut.
Brad, you can rewatch these shows right here on Wayne's channel. It'll load up in 10, 15 minutes and be on his regular channel. It won't have this chat. So please, if you got a reading from Heidi and it was accurate, once it does post to Wayne's channel, go back on there, leave a note that says Heidi did my reading. It was right on, something to that. She's doing it for free. Take the second to go and leave a good comment, please. I hope that's all right to say, Wayne.
No, I think it's spot on. People say my mic is low because I'm not talking into it, folks, and I'm keeping my mouth shut. Did we get the birth date on that one last one, Heidi?
the time. Just the time we need.
12:45
AM
a.m.
or PM?
I think it's a.m.
Why do you say that? An educated guess.
I just had this psychic impression.
Whoa,
12:54 a.m. if it's Sage.
It is. Yes, it's Sage. So there you go.
12:54.
Woo, woo.
0054. Okay.
0054.
All right, Sage.
Love the name, by the way.
I do. It doesn't even matter if it's a male or a female. Your chart is intense. Okay. So you're a Capricorn ascendant. So you are definitely somebody you're a hard worker. I mean, such a hard worker, hustler, like it is just out of control. 5/21/1971, 12:54. Right. And somebody that literally will just, with Mars and Rahu conjunct, I mean, this is somebody that can just like jump in the fire. Could be also good for real estate. I mean, that's a good, practical person that gets things done, law and order type of person. But, it's not always law and order because it's Rahu. You have issues in relationships for sure. I would say for you, your moon is conjunct Ketu. This is your biggest thing in life is relationships and how to have a balanced relationship. And it's probably really, really impossible. So because you have Mars and Rahu conjunct that makes you just like dive in and jump in and kind of, you want a relationship, but then you don't want a relationship. You might even just be like, I never would get married type of person. Now, it could give you more than one marriages. You could find a marriage later on in life that works, but you have moon conjunct Ketu, which is kind of detached from emotions. So emotionally, you can cut people off and, cut it out pretty easily. Now, it wasn't always like this. That's built up of walls from, relationship being hurt when you're younger and all these problems and chaos that happens to you in your life. So it's tough, but regardless, you have, it's definitely somebody with power, somebody that can get things done. It's just, you're going to always be kind of searching on what your life purpose is. And you're going to get into relationships with people and you're going to have people that maybe just aren't supportive 100%. So you have to really just find you. That's what your life purpose is. This life is to find your gift, your path, what you're supposed to be doing, and not letting anybody else and anybody's external influences get in the way. Venus and Mercury together, that's somebody that's a really good speaker, powerful speaker. I mean, you can move masses, the power is there, but I would say you just have that, you can be kind of harsh, intense. People might take you like you're a little overwhelming and you're probably an intense person. You come off, you're very independent. You would never want anybody to think that you're sad about anything. You're just like business, warrior. Could have even been in the army, military or something, or law enforcement. Maybe. Or a hospital, working in a hospital. And all right, big changes in relationships. K2 Rahu return, big changes here. So, and changes in you, literally. I have K2 and Mars conjunct in my first. So we have something kind of similar. Rahu is going to test your relationships if you're married, if you're not. You would do better with a foreign person if you're not. It could bring somebody in. It could also take somebody out if you're in a relationship or a marriage.
You said they should marry a foreign person?
Yeah, it's better. Sometimes you'll be attracted to foreign people, foreign lands, foreign countries. So this looks good. I think maybe a new relationship could come in, possibly. Jupiter in the 10th, you can definitely have some career success right now if you put your mind to it. Opportunities will come in big time. But Saturn just went into your 12th house. So this is going to be, don't spend too much money because this can be expenses come in a little bit more. You're going to have trouble sleeping. This started last week, I would say, and you're going to really start researching things and really do some investigations. And
This is wonderful. I can see what people are saying.
this is nice. I like this. Community number 7. So I would say this looks like a happy, positive card, and maybe things are going to change and get better with work. I mean, I don't know. Career opportunities can change, friends, moves. I mean, these are big changes. This is K2 in your first house, Rahu in your 7th. Big changes. So
It keeps, sometimes I know we do this all the time, but sometimes it's just like, wow, this stuff is so real and it really works. And it kind of blows me away. Libra is the card that I pulled. And wow, Libra says that you're coming into balance between the cosmic and the physical. The weighing process is over. You're starting to get what you deserve. Harmony awaits you. You're beginning to manifest on a higher level, and a new connection with someone will have wide-ranging impact.
yeah, you're going to meet somebody, some new relationship. This is the relationship card.
Are you kidding me? If I was watching this 10 years ago, I'd be like, they're in the same room. They're passing notes. This is bullshit.
Yeah, no joke.
I know this is all in cahoots.
Seriously, this is big changes, and I think it's good. But one might be ending. Usually
Sorry for the dirty language.
Here's what happens with the Rahu K2. I mean, I'm sure there's been more than 1 or 2 relationships in your life and 1 or 2 lessons, okay? So just so you know, you should just be a little cautious with your relationships, especially because you can get into the wrong relationships.
Excellent, excellent,
Drain
excellent.
your energy. So.
That's why you need to sign up, folks. Make sure you subscribe on Heidi's channel and on Jeff's. Make sure you hit the alert button. So when they have their shows, you can be over there. If you didn't get a chance to get on tonight, Heidi, there may be opportunities in the future on your programs. And with you have Jenny Moonstone, right?
Yes. And we have one more. We're doing the birthday for Jeremy.
All right, Jeremy.
Jeremy, it's his birthday. We'll do his.
Okay.
Can you imagine the fun that's to be had in Clearwater on?
Oh, are you kidding?
With Heidi and Jenny.
Hey, so this is crazy. This is just so crazy how these charts.
This is another person, Heidi.
Yeah. So this is Jeremy. All right, Jeremy. Definitely, I would say you might have some issues with siblings, and if you don't, then possibly issues with the mother, power struggles with the mother. There's something going on with the family, with the mother. There's a lot of things going on here. Okay, I'm going to not say too much because you're a private person, and I read charts to privacy as well. Like, I know some people don't want their stuff exposed, and I'm not saying like there's all this craziness, but you have 2 planets in your first house, Jupiter and Saturn. This is somebody that is a perfectionist in a way, somebody that works hard, somebody that wants to be a leader, somebody that needs to be a leader. It's also really good for, you take on a lot of responsibilities. You'll age very well though, because you have Saturn in the first house. So it's kind of like you're an old soul, and people are going to look up to you. You're very wise, I would say, from experiences, life experiences. Free spirit. Your moon is in.
What did you just say?
Free spirit. Didn't you say that?
Did you see the card I showed?
I saw that.
I already pulled this before you even said that. Look at that card.
Oh, really? Wait, no, I saw it. That's why I said it.
Oh, did you say? Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, no, I saw it. There's no way. I'm not having flashes here.
All right.
No. Wait, real quick. Back to so Dalton, you have 3 different times in here. I have your chart in here. So you have 7:15, you have 5:15. You don't have if it's AM or PM either. So somebody that has Jupiter and Saturn too has issues kind of with their beliefs. Like they're kind of they've got look, you've got planets in Vishaka. You're a Libra ascendant. Vishaka is all about having personal breakthroughs, and it's ruled by Rahu. So this is like you want freedom, but then you have barriers around you. You worry so much. You worry if it's going to be the right way, the right thing, a lot of self-doubts, a lot of criticism on yourself, you're very hard on yourself. Emotionally, I would say your emotions can go completely like you have Mars and K2, which is very intense, then conjunct the moon. This is somebody when somebody's mad, you don't want to be around you. Like it's watch out. I mean, you can really tear some heads up here with this. Now, a positive side, it's very intuitive, best investigators, best detectives, people that can dive deep to the root of things, tear things up, research them, get to the roots of things underground, and you know things like nobody else knows things. I mean, seriously, because then you have Mercury, Sun, and Venus in the second house in Scorpio. So lots of planets in Scorpio, investigator, lots of just don't make you mad. Let's just say that. And your Rahu's in Ardra. So 12, 11, 10, 9. Yeah, so I would say with you, career success. I just had Rahu in my 10th house, lots of career success. And this happened too, but I also had 2 other jobs and lots of other changes. And something can be going on with your emotions and your mother possibly. So this is what I have to tell you. Right now you have Saturn in your 3rd house conjuncting your moon. So emotionally, starting last week, things are going to be very emotional for you for the next 2 years. Okay. It's going to feel like you might have some depression, some upsets, some delays. Emotionally, you might feel really cold, moody. The switch is on, you feel it now, I'm sure. And just know that this is a time for you to use that energy in a really positive, creative way, using your creative self-expression. Take it and investigate things. Learn about yourself. When you have planets in this nakshatra, I'm going to read you a little more because since it's your birthday, I'm going to read you about Mula because this is huge. This is Saturn in it right now. It's ruled by K2. It's digging deep to the root cause and removing things that aren't necessary for survival. Constantly looking at past life events, getting to the roots of yourself, believing in something higher than yourself, detachment, moksha. You have to learn moksha. You have to learn to let go. Finding your spiritual roots. And this is spiritual detectives. And it's like the best detectives. And you want gurus who won't put you in the pit of religion. The more you dig deep, the more you find yourself. Let go of material relationships. You might like dogs a lot. You might like animals. And this is the god Kali. Once again, she brings the darkness to light. So this always comes with this nakshatra with all these planets in it. It probably works well. It's ruled by K2, but you're going to go through a lot of past life events. Maybe it's past life events you don't even know about that you just feel like this emotional baggage that you need to get rid of. So just know you utilize this in a way to help you grow, not get too upset and depressed, because this can put somebody like in a really sad, dark hole for 2 years, but you'll be fine. I have a feeling you're going to be,
excellent.
Yeah, you're going to be good. And you have to be a little more, we can tend to be, this K2 Mars is very glass half empty, not full. We can be very pessimistic. We are, and you are. So you have to maybe look at a little lighter side of life.
Wow.
Heidi, is it possible that K2 could try to put Saturn on for a head?
Well, who asked that?
K-Cape.
That's interesting. That's a good question. Wow. Maybe. I think I did. Saturn just rolled through my K2. Yeah.
Wow.
This person's stuck in an emotional prison. This is more emotions right now. Worries, fears, concerns. You might feel like somebody's trying to like K2. Okay, so like we said about K2 being kind of like ghosts and stuff, there's also fear of being killed, followed, watched, stalked. So you could just be walking down the streets and you're going to feel like somebody's out to get you. Or you're going to want to know all your boundaries, all your grounds.
Watching you.
Yeah. Yeah. So you might have a lot of fears of that too.
You're only paranoid if there's no one after you.
And just because you're paranoid doesn't mean that they're not out to get you.
Yeah. And definitely, this is also addictions. You got to be cautious with addictions too, for sure. So the 3rd house, just so you know, this is what's being activated right now. Siblings, initiative, courage, hard work, writing, signing contracts, online entertainment. So anything like this, YouTube's, It's sports. You're so competitive too. The way, I mean, you can be like if you're something you like. It's journalism, neighbors, communication, athletics. You're probably very athletic. What else?
Is
New
that
efforts.
being true for the young man?
Is he
Happy
saying yes?
birthday.
Oh, did he say it resignates?
Not see. That's
This has to resonate though, because trust
Yeah.
me, there's no chart that's this intense that.
well, Jeremy. I don't know if you're still here, but
And folks, something you need to understand, if you watch Heidi, and you can see she's got her computer right in front of her, but if she's doing these readings, she's looking up and to her left. That means she's got this stuff memorized and she's accessing her memory. She's not looking up and right creating stuff. She's got this all up here.
Yeah, and I have 3 screens that I'm looking at
Yeah.
different things too. So when people say that, yeah, I have literally 3 screens active all the time.
well,
Yeah.
apparently Jeremy is saying wow, just wow. So apparently this is resonating very strong with him. And well, folks, I don't know what else you really can say. I mean, you can see that there is foundation to this. There is strong, strong relationships that you have that Heidi and Jeff, I still marvel when I see what you can actually do for people. I just sit here blown away, just blown away.
Well, you're looking at a couple of people that at least karmically in past lives were all about the opposite, doing bad things. I'm just trying to get my thing to focus, bad things to people. So maybe that's one of the reasons why we're so focused on helping people this time around.
Well,
Yes.
I want to thank you for the audience. I want to thank you both for your time. Please come back.
Yeah.
This has been fun. I tell you, I wrote y'all earlier this afternoon. I could just sense that there was an energy and anticipation. And tonight is, I have to say, one of the largest groups that we've had in here. So this was obviously the people I think enjoyed it. And I just want to say again, Heidi, your channel is
Channel 27.
Okay.
And I'll make a comment right here so you can subscribe. Hopefully you will. And
go ahead, Heidi.
I do also bring other people, like John Hogue's been on my channel. I have numerologists that come on my channel. And so there's a lot of other things that I do. Joni Patry. I have YouTubes where you can see a little bit more about this, and I give recommendations, for great astrologers and stuff as well.
Well, if Rex Bear likes this lady, folks, then you can use that as a good reference. And Jeff, your channel?
This is Jeffrey Daugherty, Christian Whistleblower. It'll come up for you. Namaste to everyone for being here. We appreciate you very much. I salute you for being here seeking truth.
And join Jeff and I on Sunday morning for your Not Your Normal Sunday morning program, which is, by the way, growing by leaps and bounds. Thank you for all of you. And Heidi, we've got to get you on one of the Sunday morning programs.
And remember, you're welcome to come down, Wayne, to
Yeah,
Clearwater.
I'm into that. Yep.
December the 10th.
Yep. Really, I've been doing a series that everyone here on Chattel. You really need to watch that. It's quite eye-opening. Well, big hugs to both of you too. Heidi, thank you again because you really did.
Thank you.
Well, you helped balance Jeff and I out. Listen, you're far more attractive than these two guys, but thank you.
It's fun. It really is. It really is. It helps. I think if anybody, look, you have to see it to believe it. I had to see it to believe it. I didn't believe astrology until I had my chart read and I learned this from, this is Indian astrology, sidereal zodiac. It's not Western astrology. So it's a lot different. And it's a lot.
That's from India, right? Not Native American.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a lot more deep. Like Western astrology is more, optimistic and great. Well, this is more get to that bottom of all the crap you've done wrong and kind of seep through the details. So it really does help you understand like why you get over the guilt, you get over, oh, it's okay that I thought this way, that I did this. It really helps you just accept your life. So even if you've, done things you probably don't want to talk about, it's to get them out and be able to talk about them and know that it's not just in your head. You're not a lunatic. It's very healing.
And I will say this, when you're preparing for that next transition, this kind of stuff here is going to get that crap out of your life so you don't have to deal with it in the next one to come. Am I right, Heidi, Jeff?
So yes, for
Okay.
Two
sure.
thumbs up.
Okay, folks. All right. We love you, folks. We'll talk to you again next time, and be kind to one another. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it all.